Hi. Hey. How's it going? I'm Megan.
And I'm Sarah. And this is K2K.
And this is K2K.
Yes. Today, while we're normally kind of silly and goofy, the topic today is a little more serious. So just as like a preliminary trigger warning, if topics about like mental health or suicide or different types of mental health disorders like schizophrenia, if anything like that bothers you, feel free to skip watching this episode. It's totally fine. We're just kind of wanting to talk a little deeper about mental health in Korea, why it matters, and compare it a little bit to Kentucky as well. I think at least like way background with history with Korea.
Yeah.
Obviously like shamanism, Confucianism. They saw mental health as more of a affliction of the spirit versus like the body or the mind. Like it was more of like either a moral issue or an affliction of the spirit. So in comparison, at least like in America, we would just bleed people with leeches. For any ailment there was.
You got the demons in you? Yeah. Let's bleed you to death. Let's go.
Any type of hysterics, like there's even a list, I'm sure everybody's seen it on social media now, of reasons why they would commit people to psychiatric institutions.
Oh gosh.
One was literally a woman's monthly was the reason.
Yeah.
And then they would just be there forever. So if they couldn't bleed it out of you, they would just institutionalize you. And that's like comparing to Korea, sort of similar eventually, because like after like when Japan took over, they kind of brought sort of the first mental health institution that Korea had, at least as far as labeling it as like a mental health institution versus anything with like shamanism or Confucianism. And then it was sort of just a place where you would put people if you couldn't figure out what was wrong with them.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what's wrong with you. You're going there, buddy. Yeah. Or if you didn't like someone, you probably say, hey, they're crazy. I'm going to put you in the home.
Yeah. And like if they felt like they're bringing like shame on the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which we did that too. Like, oh my gosh, Rosie Roosevelt. Is it Rosie Roosevelt or Rosie Eisenhower? One of the president's daughters was committed.
Yes.
I think it's a Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. I think so too. Yeah. I think it's Roosevelt. Yes. Yeah. Ha. Joke's on us. It's Rosemary Kennedy. Yeah.
I should have looked that up beforehand too. I just thought of it. But they committed her because they couldn't, like, she was like sexually deviant.
Oh no.
And was a little emotional.
Oh, a lot of people would be there now.
Yeah. Anyway. It was more about controlling her so she didn't embarrass them.
Exactly. It's all about control sometimes. And Confucianism, a lot about that is your family. Like, if your family's acting bad, that's reflecting bad on you as a person because you're not taking care of your family the right way. And so I guess it's also family too. It reflects on you. And you're a bad person. You're not good.
Yeah. And I think that mindset is still a little bit in Korea because they still feel like they have to take care of the community.
Yes. And don't take care of themselves. Yeah. You take care of your family. Don't think about yourself. It's all about your family, which on one aspect or point, it's okay to take care of your family, but you also have to take care of yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of other people.
Right.
So if you're mentally unstable and crazy, you're not really in the right position to help someone else.
Sure.
I mean, you could, but it's like, I don't know, giving advice and not doing what you say, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, what do they say? Like in airplanes, if you have to put on your oxygen mask first.
Yes. Great example. Yeah, exactly. And I try to do that. I try to live by that. I'm not perfect, but I really try anymore to set the example, or I don't want to say be the standard, but like set the example, do as I do, not as I say. Well, that doesn't make sense.
It does though, because most people
do as I do and not as do as I do and say. Here we go. I'll say it that way.
I think our generation would have heard a lot of like do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. But it does.
Just do both.
Just follow the leader. Be a good person. Read your books. Do the stuff they says to do, and take your time and do it. Yep. But yeah, anyway. So with history on it, with Korea, when I was researching it and having watched, the culture, I know you live there, but watching it for many years of my life now, it seems when I was doing the research, a lot of this started, the mindset for a lot of Koreans started during, the war,
Yeah.
and they had to be able to be strong and rebuild. And education was huge. They wanted to be strong and build fast. So the mentality of is, I say it like this: if you ain't first, you're last. So you have to be putting your 100% in. Education is brutal, as we know.
Yeah.
So a lot of that came from that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the older generation still has that, and that's where it kind of started. Like, I don't know, how would you say it? People just being tough. Like, no one talks about being sad or upset. You just get over it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know you living there, you've probably seen a lot of that too.
Yeah, and a lot of it is like, which I may have mentioned this before in other episodes, but health insurance doesn't cover a lot of like therapy appointments or mental health appointments. It will like a psychiatrist for medication.
Yeah.
But the actual appointment it doesn't cover.
See, it's
very interesting.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they're trying to now act like they're helping in a way, but it's like they're just putting like a wet Band-Aid over it. And like the Band-Aid's there, but it's like slipping off and not there totally. So they're on the path, but the path is still not clear. They're trying to incorporate more mental health stuff, but it's starting to be talked about more, but it's not fixed, I guess you could say, because we were looking at suicide rates is like one of the, I think, the highest
in the neck and neck with Japan.
Yeah, I think it's the highest in the world, and a lot of that is from the mentality, the stresses of life. Of like, if you're not like at this kind of job, if you're not making this money, and if you're also elderly, is really high too, suicide rate. So a lot of that comes from that mentality they have been drilled in their heads. I get it, but they need to start like opening up more. And I think a lot of people are starting that path, but I think there's still a long way to go because suicide rate is still very high in Korea.
And even just like opening up is putting your burden on someone else and making them feel burdened.
Yeah. And it's not easy. We never said it was easy, but it's worth it. Talk about your it's not easy to talk about your feelings with your family. Is that just me? Sometimes it's hard. Like us, we could talk about it, but with a family, for some reason, it is odd. So maybe you should make a friend or go to your therapist and tell them all your struggles.
I think the other issue for them is because their friends, a lot of them are their workplace friends.
Yes.
And they even like after hours are always hanging out with coworkers and their boss, especially like Fridays when they go out to drink afterwards and stuff.
Yes.
So it's like you can't, unless you have friends outside of your workplace there, you can't really disclose what's going on because they'll be like, okay, well, he's got like really bad depression. He probably can't work as good as he should be. I should let my boss know. Yeah.
And that goes part of it, working yourself to the bones, really. Some people work their whole life super hard. It's that mentality. If you work really hard, you get everything you want. Not all the time. That's not how it works sometimes. I mean, it's work smarter, not harder. So that mentality is like you're working, God, I don't know, like 12-hour days or something insane. And you can't leave until the boss leaves or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it drives a lot of people mad. And I know it's really expensive in Seoul right now is what I've been hearing too. I know it's expensive everywhere really, but I think that's a part of the stress is people being able to afford to live there.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about them paying people to have children. Like no one wants to have children because they're so stressed from everything else.
And there's no time.
And there's no time. They have no time. So what do you want them to do?
Yeah.
Everybody's like always working 24/7. And in a sense, it's good to have a good work ethic, but you have to mix in the work and a little fun and relaxation and, just take your time, have a hobby, do something fun. Because your mental health is, once again, it's huge. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people and do a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. And that kind of leads into, I guess, with the K-pop side of it. That mentality of, they go and they work for like years practicing before they even debut.
Yeah.
And then they don't even debut sometimes. Like mentally, that would scar me for life. I'd be done. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could have done that.
Yeah.
Like I trained like 5 years to do this thing and then I don't make it. I don't know how some people have done it. And it would be really rough.
Going back to the workplace thing before
Oh
we
yeah,
do
yeah,
more
yeah,
celebrities.
yeah.
Recently, when you've probably seen this in the news too,
Mm.
they're trying to push for 4-day work weeks because of
I
the
think
mental
I've
health.
seen that. Maybe
Yeah,
I did see that. And that would be
because
great if it actually went through and passed.
yes,
Because, like we said, if you guys, you can go on and look
mm-hmm.
too about how high the suicide rate there is. So something's got to change, and also the education system
Mm-hmm.
because they're just so hard. I remember watching several K dramas where they have them in the boxes, like little cubicle boxes. They
Mm-hmm.
shut them in at home and they'll lock the door and they keep them in that box even when they're at home working. So and they start real young. I saw something that said 6 to 7, but Sarah said even 4 years old, they're starting to be really
Yeah.
hard on them. Like, like you're not first, you're last. If you're not getting 100, you suck. Kind of
I
mentality.
tutored a 2-year-old.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
3 in Korea, but a 2-year-old. I
Lord.
taught 4-year-olds. They call it a 5-year-old class, but they're 4-year-olds who spoke better English than some people I know that graduated from college. So
for me too, probably. It's insane, actually.
It's so crazy.
Once again, there's nothing wrong with being smart and going to school and learning all this stuff, but you can't do that to people because if you have the mentality of you got one life to live, thing, YOLO, but you gotta live your life a little bit too. And
yeah.
I don't know if it's my free spirit side or my Libra side or my ADHD side. Because school was always, I guess, different for me. I probably would have really struggled if I was in Korea because I don't learn like probably the way people. I can't just sit there and study and study and study. I can't focus that long.
Yeah.
So that probably would have drove me crazy. They probably would have shunned me out. So my family would have kicked me out of the house or something. I've been living on the streets probably. Gosh, I'd be having to work, like I don't know, Chippendales in Korea or something. I don't know.
I don't even know if they have that.
I would be there as the bar lady. I just want to watch anyway. But yeah.
I think we saw like we were comparing. We both did this on our own research and then found out we were doing the same one.
Yeah, we did the same research. Yeah.
The rate of suicide, like from 9 to 24, the highest cause of death in Korea is suicide. But in Kentucky, it's substance use.
Yeah, a lot of Kentucky, it was an older study, maybe just a few years old, but which makes sense, but because Kentucky does have a lot of people that do drugs and they're on substance, and it's a big problem here, and it's not talked about a lot because we are a poor area, we're a poor state. We have a lot of people that live off of welfare stuff, and it's generational at this point. There's a lot of people that are generational in that, and they just don't have a good outlook on life or have any kind of like I want to go do this for my life. I want to go do. They just want to stay and live off the government kind of thing. But and it's easy to get stuck on. And a lot of babies are born from a mother who's on drugs. So they're you know more about this than I do, but they're already on drugs. So Sarah worked in the foster care system area, so she knows a lot about that and has seen a lot of that too. It's rough.
It is, and I think there's until recently, we didn't have as many opportunities as we do now in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It was harder to get scholarships for college. It was harder to even get transportation to go to college because, like, there were just a few main universities, and then we would all live in, like, different corners of the state.
Right.
So
and it's kind of a hill. It's not really. There's not like I said, public transport. There's not a lot of walkable areas in some of we call them the hollers. You want to look that up, later. Kentucky holler. What is that? We're gonna do a segment one day about what does this term from Kentucky mean in a holler. So holler. That's you're in the middle of nowhere, Eastern Kentucky, and you're far east of me. It just there ain't nothing there.
Yeah. For us, a holler is basically like the wagon trails they took to go up and down mountains. We just dug in with dynamite and mules and basically carved holes into it's not a cave.
No,
it sounds like a cave.
We're not in caves. I don't think so. Anyway, there's probably some caves there, but
they're colder areas because they're just like wrapped around with trees and like mountainsides. Because
you're like in almost like a bowl thing. Yeah, you're all. It's a little community in this one little bowl area, and you're just kind of the mountains. I had an ex one time that said, "These aren't mountains, Megan." He's from California, so I call them hills. The hills of Kentucky. He said they weren't very they're mountains out in California. Anyway, but they're the hills.
It's called the Appalachian Mountain Range.
I know, exactly. And we fought over that. Anyway. No, but yeah, I guess in kids in Korea was a lot of the educational stuff too. The stress of education. And then
here
I'm really hurt by the elderly a lot.
Yeah.
And that I think I wrote down let me look. in Korea, like 60 plus, it was 75% of that have to still work. Like they don't get to retire. Like, yeah, it was older than 60, 75% of them still have to work for their livelihoods. And I think that's why a lot of the suicide rate's really high in seniors too, which is heartbreaking. I think I go back and remember that older clip of who was it? Was it Suga and two other members of BTS when they went to that little old lady's house? This is an old clip, and they like redid her. This is when they first were getting popular, and they redid her little room she lived in.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that. Who was it? It was Suga and maybe Jim maybe, and I can't remember who the members were. But anyway, it just flashes in my head just thinking
I
them.
honestly can't remember either.
It's an older clip. I mean, it's been a while,
Yeah.
but I think of that and just helping them because it's a lot of BTS. Anyway, well, thank you. That we'll talk about more of that later.
When I lived there,
yeah,
you would see like 80-year-olds cleaning up on the side of the road, and I was like, at first I was shocked. I was like, what's going on here? But then I asked a Korean friend, and they told me that it's because they retire and they get too bored. They don't feel like they're contributing.
Right.
So they feel like they have to go back out and help. So they'll go and like help clean up the community. They'll help with like the trash areas because you don't get trash pickup in Korea. It's unless it's like rural Korea.
Yeah.
It's everyone has like there's like community areas where you put all your trash bags and your recycling and
well, she's traumatized from the recycling. Everybody, just RIP one moment, but she doesn't. I mean,
it's different per region. It makes no sense. And every like if you go from one city to another, there's different color bags. So it could be white bag for trash, green for recycling. The next city, flip flop, and you get fined if you mess up because they're watching you on CCTV.
That's traumatized. I don't need anything else to stress me out about traveling overseas. That's what really stressed me out.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's a book called, I think it's pronounced Ikigai. It's a Korean, my friend, like you always should be doing something. Because it was like the oldest living people in the world are all like on this island in in Japan. And they all have something to do. They're always still working. They're always community.
It's Ikigai in Japanese.
Japanese. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Japan.
Yeah.
But I read that book one time. It's just very interesting. So having keep doing things, keep living, and because once you just sit still and just like you retire and just sit there, usually people don't do well. And I hate to use this for horses like I'm a horse lady and like the racing industry. The thoroughbreds when the stallions get done with their breeding, that was kind of their thing. That was their job. They had a job to do, and kind of when they retire them to stud, they usually don't live very long. I find, and because I think they just don't really have a job to do now. They're alone because you can't really mix the stallions with other stallions and the mares because you don't want them to breed. And it's at some point you can probably geld. I'm probably too old to geld. Gelding is when you're humping their balls off.
And I was like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know geldings are they don't. I mean, their manhood's gone. Yeah, but so yeah, just kind of give up. And I get that mentality. I kind of understand that if I'm at home rotting away for a day or two, I find that my mental state gets weak.
Yeah.
Like I don't talk to anybody. I start getting real like, why me? Why is all this thing happening? What is this? Who am I?
We're also both extroverts.
Yes.
It's the opposite for introverts all the time.
I like to be alone. I like my alone time, but then at some point I have to make myself because I will sit in my room and hide forever. I hide in my basement all the time. But I do like I find when I go to work and stuff and talk to people and get out and talk to people I know, I feel a lot better. So having a community of people to talk to too. I know someone I know, I won't say who they are, but they've been struggling. They don't have any really friends. They only have their spouse that they're up their butt, and that's fine. They've been together for a long time, but they just don't have anything to do. And I've been trying to get them to find like a hobby or like join a group like with K-pop stuff. I've met friends and I've met people online. So that's kind of kept me going. And so just find something that you like and find the people that like that also.
Yeah.
You all have something in common. You don't have to have everything in common, but you have that one thing that you can talk about. So I'm trying to push them to like find something or get a job. And I have a lot of friends at work and I have friends outside of work, but just finding a community that you can vibe with is probably the biggest thing. But yeah.
Yeah. And it might not seem like it, but we have the same personality type.
Yeah.
I'm just more of a listener sometimes, I guess.
That's her therapy side. And she's medicated too, so she's on her. She got her ADHD medicine. I do not. So can you spot the difference? I swear I notice in our videos
so
all the time the difference is like I'm like, and like what's that over there? And Sarah's like, yeah, I understand. So she's on point. I'm just like,
you'll finish my stuff before I finish saying it too, which is such an ADHD. It's like
it's so bad, y'all.
Symptom,
it's such a thing. And I'm inside of him like, don't say anything yet. Don't say anything yet. You can't. Don't forget that thing though. You were gonna say. Don't forget the thing. Oh, you forgot it. So I'm like. So yes, you could tell one of us is more medicated than the other, and one is not.
It's so funny.
And that's another part of the mental health. Like, speaking of ADHD, reminds me of Eric Nam mentioning, I guess just really more recently, after he probably was more out of Korea, doing stuff over here in the US. He said, he has ADHD. And I think a lot of people in Korea, I'm sure, have ADHD, but they don't really diagnose it a lot.
Yeah.
And that goes also with, depression. I know I do and you do. Depression goes through a lot. They work almost hand in hand sometimes with ADHD. And I really had to fight. I mean, for a while I had to fight, and figure out what could get me out of that funk and what could, build me up. And I think in Korea too, everything's kind of undiagnosed or underdiagnosed in the mental health area on ADHD. I would say a lot of people have ADHD, and that goes hand in hand. So really opening that conversation.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, especially here in the US and in Kentucky, ADHD is like, oh, that's not real. You'll get over that. That's not a thing. Though with science, people, it is a thing, and it does happen to a lot of people.
Or it's only for men or boys.
Oh yeah, most of the studies. I have a book over here. They said that most of the studies. Oh, here it is.
I don't think they did a study on women, like solely women for ADHD until 2017.
Yeah, ADHD for smart-ass women. And she talks about it. They never did any studies on women at all for ADHD, which is insane. Well, also our undercarriages down here, they don't know much about that either. But anyway,
yeah,
they just don't care about us. Anyway, we just birth you guys, whatever.
This is
we're
cutting this part out.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before. Like
insanity.
We're gonna have sex talk one day. Maybe you and me. But talking about artists who really kind of started opening up and talking about the mental, once again, talking about your mental health in Korea was like a shun you, don't say anything. No, you're fine, everything's fine, just get over it mentality. I would say Eric Nam comes to mind because he talked about when he was first in his company, he talked about needing help and wanting to talk to someone because he's an American going over there, not really knowing the language well, with a bunch of new people, and he's stressed out. I'm sure I would have a pain. I didn't understand half the language. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how he did it anyway, but
imagine people yelling at you.
Yeah, yelling at you and like, I don't know what you're saying to me, but okay, I'm angry. Yeah, but they pretty much told him though, like, get the heck over it. Like, this is, we can't. If people find out you're doing this thing, you'll be shunned from society. Blah blah blah. But now he has, they have him and his brothers, Brian Nam, and I think Eddie's more like
Nam.
No, I like saying Nam.
I know you did.
I like saying Nam. And Eddie, I think, is more kind of out of the picture now. He's more a family guy. But they started, Dive Studios and Mindset, which is huge because Eric started something where artists could openly talk about their mental health and their own stories, which is great. So I feel like he's one of the forerunners, and I think people go to him a lot in his podcast and his show because I think they feel comfortable with him because they understand. And then SUGA, our man, I've seen his face a few times. I'm so excited.
Did you see the new live?
The live where they're all there together, and then the picture of all them together. Oh, Jimin. But yeah, it was so good just to see them all. They were so happy and excited. It made me excited. But
if they talk more about losing weight, I will fly over myself.
How do I get this to them? We need muscles. I'm cool with muscles. Let's do it.
Or dad bods.
Dad bods. Oh, ooh, a little dad bod. Okay, I'm game for that.
Not Jimin acting like he has a dad bod right now.
Oh my.
I was like, your legs are like.
Yeah, listen.
What are we talking about?
Thick thighs save lives. But
Sorry.
going back, SUGA though, so SUGA did a huge thing, which we all didn't really know about. He kind of helped start a program at Severance Hospital, I believe it was. Is it called Severance?
Yeah, the
hospital. It's a mind program, and it's helping like people on the spectrum with autism learn how to communicate better and work in real life situations. I guess kind of through music. And so he donated 5 billion won or 3.6 million USD, I believe, to the program. And then he also worked with the kids hand on. They didn't know who he was though either, because if you looked at his name tag, there was pictures of him and it just said men on there. It didn't say Yoongi or anything. So I don't think they had no idea who he was.
I didn't look that close at that.
I saw that photo on something. I saw it online, and so they had no idea who he was either. And he would go, just donate his time also. Which this is why we love him, because he's always been outspoken about his own mental struggles, especially with his music. And this is why we love him.
I think he was at one point institutionalized for a little bit too.
Oh yeah,
because his depression was really bad.
And I think there's several, because a lot of artists, take a break, as they say, but they are definitely taking a mental break, which is great. But they should be able to talk about it, and some do. Some are more open about it now. But
on K-pop Demon Hunters, we also see that.
K-pop Demon Hunters, y'all. I listen to that soundtrack every day in my car.
It's so good. But you even see that there, because they try to take a break, and then they're like, they see how excited their fans are, and they're like,
yes,
do we have to take a break? Like,
because in the movie, it's like spoiler, they have they're hunters, so they have a job to protect the world, kind of. So they really have that mentality of protecting everybody else, no matter how they're feeling, especially for Rumi, who has these issues she was hiding the whole time. But yeah, so
which was a great, what's the word, Sarah? Not parody, but like a juxtaposition, not juxtaposition.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the word? When it's like an example of something else, it's not a horse. It's I got too many languages in my head.
I don't know either. I'm losing this one.
Insert word here. So
yeah. Good example.
Spoilers. Them hunting the demons to keep Korea and the world
the honeymoon,
safe. Was a great way to kind of shadow mental health, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're keeping the darkness.
Yeah, the darkness, because a lot of them were getting negative and dark and depression. Because if you watch where Jinyu told his story of how he ended up down there, he talks about being starved to death, being depressed, and he hears the voices, the demons talking in her head that want you to do bad things or bad things to yourself. And so that makes a lot of sense when you really say it like that. So because things talk in your head like you're worthless, you're not this. This is why you do your affirmations every day, everybody.
Your negative
you
thoughts.
Are worth it. You can do it. You did it.
Yep. You got to rewire that brain.
Yep. And there's so many other artists, like we said, that have been jumping in and I've had this problem, I'm taking a break. I've had this problem. They've been open about it.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's happening. The doors are opening. Things are rolling. And I think America's a little bit ahead on that aspect, because I feel like now I feel very comfortable, and everybody kind of goes there. It's still hard. A lot of people still are like, oh no, therapy. Good Lord, I have to talk about my issues. Like, no one wants to talk about their trash. I get it. We all have our trash we want to talk about. But either talk to someone or handle it, because you got to do either one. You want to live a good life.
Otherwise, it will just impact you.
So, I know, it would just it's going to weigh you down and hold you down. You don't want something like that to hold you down for your whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, I think, different topic, but people love the misery though too. Some people I feel bad for me.
I think they love the misery, but it's only because of
the attention they get from it. Maybe
they've went so long without attention when they have their needs are being met.
Yep.
That they've learned to be that way. There's a personality disorder called histrionic personality disorder. That's for people that it's not just people that are that way. There's a lot more symptoms, but a lot of that falls into that category.
I think I know a lot of people like that, honestly.
But it's just and personality disorders develop when your needs aren't met, and there's so much trauma, and there's so much you basically have.
Makes me think if I have problems. Sorry.
You basically have to like change who you are to survive the situation.
Yes. Oh God.
Yeah.
I do a lot of mask. We talk about, I think, one of the first 2 episodes, masking a lot, because I think it's an ADHD thing, because I've learned how to handle different people. I put on different faces, because it's more of a survival thing for me mentally. Also, if I don't, I might go crazy. But try to, and also, I don't know, ADHD, a personality, a Libra. It's all this thing happening to me. Which mask am I wearing today? None, because I'm me.
This is true. I don't know if anyone else noticed, but both of our ADHDs got us off of the topic of celebrities that we were talking about beforehand that have had issues.
Yeah, like Eric. We talked about SUGA, and then of course if we want to go into the ones that
didn't get the help,
and they chose the darker path, or chose the path of taking their own life. Yeah. And it's so hard, because it is hard for anybody. It doesn't have to be a celebrity either. It's just hard for anybody. But seeing someone who you see on TV all the time, and they actually, I think they talked about it a lot too, probably themselves, but they just could not handle it anymore, no matter how much probably help maybe they did have. And there are some people like that, but it's so sad. And you think that would have really started some changes, but it still has taken a while. Yeah, it's a sad topic, but it's one that needs to be talked about. We should never repeat the past. Anyway, a lot of things, we should always be open and talk about things, no matter how hard they are. Like, talk about your own problems, especially.
Right. And I think just to be open about, like, sometimes people become suicidal not from depression, but a lot of it is from stress.
Yep. Society, stress, family,
anxiety, financial issues. It's not just like, oh, he's depressed, that's why he killed himself. It's not. That's the stigma that's
there's
around
a lot
it,
of
but
pressure. Pressure for artists, especially. There's so much, and I think as fans too, we have an obligation to not add to that stress. If that makes sense, we shouldn't be negative, because that is probably a cause for a lot of people too. Because it makes you think. Like, I mean, me and Sarah being on the air, it's hard. First off, putting yourself out there, especially in social media these days, because people may be talking bad stuff.
It also is probably an ADHD thing, but some comments that we get, she'll run it through her ChatGPT to see, like, what's the tone of this message? Like, is this a positive message or a negative message? Because sometimes, like, text and social media is horrible for mental health. You don't know what that tone is, and
we want to make sure,
your mindset, like where you are that day. If you're in a good mood, you might read it in a good way.
Yeah.
But if you're in a really bad mood, someone's saying, hey, like the video, you might hear it as sarcastic.
Yeah. It's hard to tell anything through text. That's what you should call me. I'm just kidding. No, don't call me.
But imagine how it is for celebrities.
Oh, yeah, celebrities.
A slew of, like, messages.
Like doing lives. We've sat there on Weverse lives and, like, any kind of, like, TikTok, Instagram lives, and we see the stuff people are saying, and I'm just like, I wish I could help them. I wish I could just, like, punch the people in the throat.
I'd like to take a moment. Yeah. If you're watching a certain member's live from any group, do not ask where another member is and why they're not the ones going live. Like, who does that? I don't care.
Speak English.
Yeah.
Hey, speak English. I'm like, you mothers. I understand what you're saying.
I get so frustrated.
I've tried learning Korean, and I'm just like, here I am where I am in life. But
well, I think it's our job as fans of this genre of music in particular to create positive, healthy communities and fan spaces, both for other fans and for celebrities.
Because if we really get down and deep, if we did more studying into this, there's a big correlation between mental health and K-pop.
Yep.
We found a lot of people that have been through, or still going through a lot of struggles.
Oh, but spoiler, we're going to interview our first person.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have our first interview.
We have interviews lined up, but our first one is occurring literally July 5th, and then it should be the next episode we post.
Yeah, after this episode, yes. Yay!
So it's exciting.
It's very exciting, yeah.
I won't give spoilers. We'll give teasers on social media.
I'll tell you later, guys.
But yeah, sorry, that was just like
I'm excited about that
Yeah.
too. It's we're gonna try to interview people and talk to different people from different walks of life, and it might not always be about K-pop. It might be a little bit about mental health and just whatever that person wants to talk to. It's about open communication and listening to people. So that's what we this is what we started this for. Is we both believe in K-pop, we both believe in mental health, and we both believe in being sassy sometimes and having ADHD. So,
and I think some of our guests too, we're gonna explore like how they bettered their mental health in different avenues. It won't just be K-pop; like it could be faith-based, it could be community-based. Maybe people that had like a really low moment, and that's what got them to like seek help. Like it'll be a whole bunch of people.
Something. It could be a accumulation of all the things, but it's something that always started something for them. Like it started for them, like you said, religion or whatever. So, or maybe I don't know. Maybe you like feet, and then you.
Hey, if feet turned your life around.
Feet turned my life around. I made lots of money. You know what I'm saying?
I actually have several clients who are afraid of feet, so I can't wear open-toed shoes. I wore them today to work because I would not see them specifically, but any other day I can't wear open-toed shoes.
That's so interesting. Yep. I mean, I also don't know the fascination with feet either. I mean, I'm okay with just feet, you know. Just
wait, why is mine so perfect? I've been like sitting on it like cross-legged, and it's just like purple.
Well, you can't see our feet right now. I have socks on. I'm trying to cover my feet because they ain't been groomed, I guess. But they don't look bad, but they're just not like all did up.
My sister has me self-conscious about my hair. Like, put it behind you in your video so it doesn't look like a rat's nest. Like when it's set out like the whole time. Like
we love Sarah's sister. She is like telling us, critiquing us, like, "Girl, you need some blush on. Fix that hair. Let's go." You know.
She's an assistant manager. It's fine.
It's fine. She's the we dubbed her the assistant manager.
So I like the curls today.
Yeah, I curled mine a little bit, and I don't curl mine a lot. I just kind of let mine do what it wants to do. Sometimes I'm like, be free.
I was influenced and switched hair products again. So it's holding the curl better though.
It is holding the curl pretty well.
Yeah.
Your hair is totally different than mine too. So we both have different. Mine's just very fine, and whatever I want to do with it usually does. And yours is a little more. Is it frizzier? Yours is like more like
frizzier and heavier.
Heavier, yeah. A lot heavier. Yeah, I saw you getting your hair thin. I'm like, not me, please don't, God, dear like baby Jesus, don't thin this hair. No,
it feels so much better. Like I think she could have thinned it more, to be honest. But
you feel like a brand new lady.
I'm not so hot in the summer. I feel like I'm like a sheep. I'm a sheepdog. I'm miso.
I just look at my drain after I wash my hair, and I'm like, come back to me. Don't leave me. I'm all alone. I want to make sure we're not missing any other big pointers.
That's true.
Oh, I found an interesting fact when I was I watched Mark Manson on YouTube, and he had done a video of mental health kind of in Korea. I think it was in 2024, and he was talking about how gaming was really becoming a big thing. You know, I think in the 90s, and the game was StarCraft, and that's where they started putting people in rooms together.
Yeah.
And they all had to live together. So it's kind of like what the BTS and trainees had to do. They all live together, breathe together, sleep together, the same thing.
That's so weird.
I know. And so, because it was huge. The gaming is still huge in Korea. Yeah. But I think it's during that time, too, where they still weren't really great friends with Japan. They were kind of friends, and they weren't really, and they said that's why they didn't use a lot of Japanese games. They made their own game. And so, and the PC rooms were everywhere in the game rooms. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. It makes sense in a way, because it all started there, and they were just live, sleep, breathe, eat, all the above gaming. Which is, I mean, it's okay to like be good at your craft, but gosh, you gotta live a little bit, man. Come on.
I will say, for some people there, though, that is their way of living. It's like they're either studying and working, or they're gaming. So, I mean, if it gives you joy.
Yeah, do something to give you joy, though. Don't make it all stressful, though. Make sure it's something that kind of just...
But also, don't live in that game. If you're from Korea and you're watching this, do not live in that game cafe.
No,
I can't tell you how many times I go into one and it's just like there's stacks of ramen and like water bottle. Like they've been there for at least 2 days.
I'm hungry. Ramen sounds good.
Actually, so there's a Kentucky K-pop group on Facebook.
Yes.
And a few people commented about how K-pop had changed their lives.
Yes.
Dig that up real quick, because I think it'd be nice to read those. I'll leave out names, but if you're watching it and you know it was you, like, you know, totally say like, hey, that was me. The internet.
Listen, my Wi-Fi's been down. I have one bar. We both have one bar in this basement.
So we had a few people say, one person said K-pop literally has saved my life several times and has been such a light in the darkness when I needed it.
Agree.
I wouldn't be here without it. I struggle with MDD and anxiety, and K-pop has done so much for me. It's wonderful to find people who relate.
Yep. And we want more of these stories, by the way, guys. We love hearing this from you guys because we had the same stories we talked about.
Another one said that K-pop has helped me deal with going through cancer treatments last year. I also have general anxiety disorder and ADHD. I'll leave the age out just in case they don't want it to be on there.
Right.
So I'm a bit older than the typical K-pop demographic, but honestly, I'd even love to talk about how K-pop is for everyone, regardless of age. And we have guests lined up that will talk more about that.
Yes, we have a few guests lined up.
Not to ruin that, but I think it's really cool. And we've talked about this before. It's not, K-pop isn't the only music genre that's helped people with mental health.
No, exactly. But there's many other things, but this is what we're into, and this is what we talk about. But tell us, you could tell us anything. Like you said, you could tell us any music or anything that's really helped you. Like other hobbies we have, like I like watching baseball now. I'm gonna go see, first off, I'm gonna see the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani. And they've got a newer-ish player, Hee-Sung Kim. He's really good. They call him the Comet. He's really good, and he's like built. He is strong. He's fast. And then right now they're playing him all over the field, but he's been playing second, outfield, but good player. But that's kind of like a hobby I've been getting into. I'm gonna go watch them play. And Sarah was gonna go, but she has no more PTO. But
only negative in the new job, you get 1 PTO per month.
Yeah, so me and the mother, we're gonna go together. But like, just find different hobbies. I like to usually save my money for like concerts and stuff. But I really wanted to go see, like, literally Shohei Ohtani is a living legend right now at this point. They call him the unicorn for a reason. Fight me, let's go. Anyway, I used to play softball. I was really, big into softball and pitching, and really still miss pitching and being in sports. But so now I'm kind of I'm living through like Ohtani, Yamato, and all those other pitchers there, and who do a really good job. I'm sorry I'm just naming Asian players, but that's who they're really good though. I just can't help it.
I'll find some news articles about Megan when she was in high school to insert.
Oh my gosh, y'all want to see? There's a video, my YouTube video, someone made for me for my college stuff, and I think I can. I remember saying, I think I can do it.
Flashback.
I was like, I think I can do it next year because the way I pitched in that game and I held him off. I was being interviewed by the. I was being interviewed by the news and stuff. Like, I think I can. I was actually Gatorade Player of the Year, my junior year.
That's awesome.
And I have a towel from Gatorade, and I have like a big thing I got from Gatorade at that time. I think I won it, and if you look it up online, you can look on their website. It's 2008 to 2009. That was my junior year. That wasn't even my senior year. Like my hardest year was my junior year because that was the first year I was really by myself. And I just remember dying on the field because tournaments, I pitched almost every game, all innings. And it just, my body was worn down. So, I mean, I'm a competitor. I'm a fighter.
There wasn't like a relief pitcher?
Yes and no. We really didn't have any. We only had really one at that time. And so, and we were playing. We played good teams. We didn't just play teams around here who were just half-assed. We went and played. We went out we played in California at one point. We flew out to California when I was younger. We played in Florida. We went to go find good teams and play. And we might get our butts kicked sometimes, but you only get better, you play better teams.
Right.
Yeah. Better, faster, stronger. We had a shirt that says better, faster, stronger, or something else on there. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, different hobbies, different things. And working out too is a big outlet for me. Yeah. Working out, I like to lift. I'm at the point where I really need to focus on my diet if I want to lose more weight. But I eat free, as I've said probably before. I'm on the free diet. Whatever's free around the house, I eat. So, but I'm a free range. Free ranger.
A free ranger.
Free ranger. But working out's big. I mean, I think definitely everybody should do some form of workout because it's also good for your mental health. And if you have ADHD, your dopamine. Get out, walk your dog, take the dog out for a walk. I do a lot of lifting. I don't like do like I'm gonna be a bodybuilder, but hey, if it happens, I'll pick you up, baby. Bring over my shoulder. Let's go. I carry out this burning building.
She made a post on her socials about her like her glowing muscles and like the muscle top thing.
Yeah, it's like I've got muscles under like it sounds weird to say this, but I have like the layer of fat still in my body, and I have muscles under that. I just have to kind of get that fat to go down a little bit.
No, it doesn't. That's how it works.
I've got it. I just got to get that. Dieting's really going to help me because it's ladies understand your hormones in your body. It's hard to lose weight sometimes, and I have abs. Like I can do some really hard ab workouts, but it's just still there, So I'm waiting for it to go away. One day. Positive mindset. It's going to happen. You work hard, you can do it. You can dream it, you can do it. Sarah, any besides K-pop, do you have any other big outlets? Oh, your guy from your app, Silas?
She's talking about Love and Deep Space. I would say for me it's video games and art, but also that. Also that. It's a great game.
That's so funny.
And
you need your girl time and boy time, whatever, you need your friend time too.
Yeah.
By the way. You need time to gossip, you need time to catch up, talk crap at people. Anyway.
Even if you're like introverted or if you have social anxiety, social communication is key because like even just being near someone releases different types of like endorphins, epinephrine, norepinephrine, like you get all kinds of stuff. Even like just locking eyes.
Be careful with the energy vampires though too.
Yes.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
There's certain people I get around or she gets around that just suck her energy out, man. And that's a thing. I swear it's a thing. I think energies that we talk about energies in everything you do, and you can feel the energy in some people if you really start paying attention. And some people just wear me out, and especially with your job now, you're meeting with a lot of people who have some serious issues, and they are just going to really suck the energy out of you sometimes. It's going to be really hard, and it's just the energy vampires, man. But
I can almost deal with the trauma more than I can actual straight up energy vampires.
Yes.
Like, they might be the nicest, friendliest people, but like they'll just keep talking and talking and talking about stuff about themselves that they've said maybe 30 times to you. And you're just like,
oh no. And it's the thing, like
you can only give advice
doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Exactly. You can only give that advice so many times before you're just like, can we just delete this conversation forever?
And I asked you that question the other day because I've had a few people. I was like, Sarah, how do you do it? Because I don't say I'm a therapist, but I've lived and I try to be mindful of things. I try to help people like, hey, this will probably help you be better. And they're like, oh no, I'll just struggle anyway. But I asked her, I was like, how do you handle like the people, like we said, you keep telling them the same thing over and over again and they just don't listen. And your advice was kind of like,
I don't remember.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Oh. It's true.
Yeah, she told me there was like a time and a place for everybody when they really finally realize, and I wish that fucking time would be faster.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes you just wish it would click just right away.
Well, it's
not right away, but like sooner than later because it's hard on us because they keep coming to me with the same problems. And it just starts stressing me out. I can only, as a person, I really have to be, I'm trying to be careful about also my shield here. I can only handle so much from people until it really starts stressing me out. Because I really try to be the happy, optimistic, and helpful person, but I can only handle so much of the negative and like, you're sucking my energy out of me.
Yeah.
And that's why I said be careful of who you hang around because who you hang around matters because who you hang around will influence you to either be happy, sad, crazy, go to jail, kind of stuff like that.
Biggest tip I could give is to hang out with those people in groups.
Yes. Yeah, because sometimes at work you can't get away from certain people, unfortunately. That's why you kind of have to draw the line. Nope, I'm a Libra. I am a Justice. I am also I don't like confrontation. I hate it. But sometimes you have to draw the line with some people and just say, listen, Linda, you need to chill over there. I'm going to chill over here. You stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane.
Or you could say, like, hey, Linda, like, I really care about what you're telling me right now. I know it's a very serious topic for you, and you're wanting someone to listen and maybe give advice or maybe just hear you out. But yep. I'm not in the right headspace for this right now. Could we maybe come back to this later?
This is the chat GBT version of what I just said. 100%. This is what my chat does. I'm like, here, chat. And it's like, oh, I was like, that sounds a lot better than what I just said. Maybe that's what I really mean, but I like the old lady at work that hates you for no reason usually. Like, why? What did I do to you? There's always one of them. Okay, anyway.
I don't have one at my new job.
That's good.
They're all really cool people.
See, it was like a thing for you to go there, man. It was all because she had planned on going somewhere out of town, like north in Lexington. And you got a call one day. Mm-hmm. We were together, I think. We were actually in Lexington, and we were for your birthday.
Yes.
And she got a call for this place where she works now. And I'm like, thank God it's a divine thing. Because then we started this podcast. There's a divine timing is a thing, too.
That's true.
It is so hard, though, to keep the faith, blind faith sometimes. But I'm telling you things. I have my, my vision board. Mm-hmm. As I look at it, I'm starting to see some things. Like on one of my pictures I had, like a laptop, a camera, and another camera. And right now we're filming on my camera.
Yeah.
We got my computer, and we're actually doing videos now. And there's some photos that are starting to I have on there okay, things are happening. It's just hard to keep the faith, though, on the things you can't see yet or know how they're working out. Because I've been, like I said, I think in another video, working on detachment, detaching myself. I don't want to strangle those things like I'm being obsessed with them.
Yeah.
It's hard to detach yourself, but you have to really practice that because I find let it flow in naturally. Because if you force something, it's usually not either for you or worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I like to force it sometimes. What now? I want it. Anyway.
Well.
Yeah. Anyway. That was it for today, guys. But, if you need help or you want to talk to somebody, you can reach out to us. We can help you find someone to talk to. Yeah, if you're local, we can help you get resources. I'll do my best. Sarah will do her best. We're here to, talk to you. And, we're like your best friends that you can talk to. Talk to us right now. Go ahead and tell us your story. That was great. Anyway. But you know what I mean? You can tell us your stories, and we'll, we enjoy reading your stories, and we'll do what we can to help you out. And our best to do what we can anyway, yeah.
And as a reminder, before we go,
yeah,
if anything in this episode triggered you, or if you felt like anything kind of brought up some old feelings or thoughts that you normally are pretty good at keeping away, make sure you reach out to someone, even if it's just a friend, to be like, hey, I'm kind of in a bad place right now. Can we just talk and hang? You don't have to tell them what's going on.
Right.
But just if you feel like talking about suicide and mental health issues this time was just a little too much, just reach out to someone. Don't be afraid to get help.
And don't be afraid. Sometimes it's worse in our head when we think we'll reach out. Oh, they're going to hate me, resent me. It turns out the opposite. They're like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you to tell me this. I've been waiting to help you out. So it actually is. It's usually going to work out better than you think it is. That's another mindset thing too. Because I always expect the worst, but I'm always expecting the best now.
And if the first person is suck it up and deal with it, go to the next person.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about in this episode. We're talking about people that actually care about you.
Just keep going to it. Eventually you will find someone who will be there
your
for
person.
You. Just keep going.
For sure.
We also tell that with kids that we have that report abuse. If the first adult you tell doesn't believe you or says that you're making it up, go to the next person.
That's really
good.
Keep
going to another trusted person until you find someone who's okay, let's take action on this.
That's how I found Sarah. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we found each other, but we found, and K-pop, once we found our people, that led us to. There's always a reason for somebody in your life. I guess you could say it in the life thing. They always teach you a lesson. If they leave, that was a lesson. If they're still here, you're still learning from them.
Or they were just part of that last chapter, and now
exactly,
it's a new chapter.
And their new chapter. This is our new chapter. Because this was
K2K.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Sarah.
And this was
K2K.
K2K.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, this is a good ending, right? This is great. This is a great time.
But yeah, comment, like and subscribe if you like to keep watching episodes.
Also, we need 50 followers on our TikTok so we can do lives. I want to do lives so bad on TikTok with Sarah, and we need 50. We got like 34. We're almost there. Listen, I promise we won't harass you. You don't have to watch. Just follow, okay?
Or don't. It's up to you.
It's up to you. Whatever you want, but follow.
There's no pressure from our side.
Do it now.
My side.
Do it now.
Anyway, we love you.
Do the thing with the button.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Love you. Okay. That's it. I'm sweating a little bit. I'm not going to lie. My armpits are a little sweaty on this one. Oh, we did good. We still had 34%, and it's not overheating. Hooray. I love you guys. Mwah. Do you want to see our butts again? Probably not. Anyway, bye.